And welcome back to the MaxPreps Football Podcast. I am Steve Montoya, joined by our national football editor, Zack Poff. Zack's been on the road, catching some good games all across the country. You got to see IMG firsthand last week. They are absolutely loaded. Give Central credit, hanging in there. Give them credit for playing. Yeah. IMG, it's going to make them better for their run in the playoffs. But shoot, IMG is loaded. Jaden Wade, their quarterback. Guys over at 24/7 Sports, you mentioned the broadcast. They got it right with that guy.
Yeah, number one player in the class of 2028 for a reason, man. He's special. It sure helps, too, when you got that great offensive line. And, even during the broadcast, we're talking about even their backup offensive line's probably better than, maybe outside of 5 teams in high school football. But, yeah, Jaden Wade, special talent. He didn't throw an incomplete pass last week. Threw for, close to 350 yards, 4 touchdowns. Showed his speed, too, with that 47-yard house call. So, yeah, IMG looks good, man. 49-14 probably could have been even more lopsided. Yep. They're great on both sides of the ball. They got a special group this year. I was saying even this might be their best team right up there with the 2020 squad. And then even the teams in 2016 and 2017.
Yeah, it's nice when you can just throw it out to a guy like Eric McFarland, and let him run, man. That kid was special.
Gales, too, threw it down the sideline for that 85-yard touchdown. Nice. That receiving group is pretty good.
Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit more about IMG later on, just about how the potential for them to make a run at a national championship. But let's get to our game of the week this week. This one's fun. The next few weeks are going to be all about rivalries. Yeah. Going to be about making playoff runs, potentially seeing each other in the state championship again. McCallie, Baylor in Tennessee. Both teams in the top 25. Yeah. So it's a national game, but at the same time, this one is super localized. It's all about the atmosphere. It's all about just two teams that know each other so well, and you got some history on these two teams too. It's crazy how far they go back.
Yeah, first time they played, depending on where you look it up, but I'm going with 1905 is the first time they played, and this will be the 95th all-time meeting. You mentioned they've played in the last 2 state championship games as well. McCallie's won both of those. And this is going to be a fun one, man. I'm looking forward to getting out to Chattanooga, get out there Thursday night, games Friday night, 7:45 p.m. Eastern time. You can watch it on MaxPreps, the NFHS Network, and on our MaxPreps YouTube channel. This is going to be a fun one, man. And, Baylor's got this running back, David Gabriel Georges. He's from Canada. Stud. He's been at Baylor since last year, was Mr. Football in his class, and he's having a great senior season. Missed last week's game, but I'm hopeful he'll play this week. I'm looking forward to seeing that dude. And, McCallie got that huge win a couple weeks ago against Mission Viejo when they were ranked number 6 in the country. So that shot them all the way up into the top 25. And, this is a huge rivalry game. That's what I'm looking forward to. This game would be huge even if both teams were 0-5. But luckily for us, they're 5-1. And 5-0, so this is going to be a fun one. And how great is it? You get a chance to knock off your rival and set them outside of the top 25. You win this one on Friday night.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll be on the ground with our social team like we have been each and every week with our game of the week. So tune in across all our platforms. Should be some fun stuff out in the state of Tennessee. Yeah. So we'll continue with some great rivalries. Miami Northwestern against Miami Central. Another game where you could go back in time, and these two teams always play each other. Yeah. It's always a good game. It's always good athletes. It's always good competition. This is going to be a fun one in Miami.
Yeah, both these schools have produced a lot of talent at the college level, and then obviously on Sundays as well in the NFL. This is bragging rights. Mm-hmm. This is a big game for Northwestern and Central. Miami Central is one of 3 new teams to jump in the top 25 this week. They check in at number 22. Derek Gibson did a great job in his first year as head coach. They're 3-0, had a nice win against American Heritage a couple weeks ago. Miami Northwestern had, tough season opener, lost a close one to Orange Lutheran. They've won every game since, and Neiman Lawrence has taken over at quarterback. He's a 5-star in the class of 2028. Absolute stud. And Miami Central's got a great sophomore, too, in linebacker Stephen Moore. So that's going to be a fun matchup to watch. Those two guys, kind of quarterback on defense, going up against a quarterback on offense. I keep going back and forth on this one, but I think Neiman Lawrence is going to make enough plays, and I think Miami Northwestern might pull out one-score game.
Yeah. Well, shoot 50-50. I think I looked up the last 30 games. It's like 15-15 or something like that between these two teams. So, you're going to get a good game there. So this next game is maybe not about the playoffs, but there's still some bragging rights on the line. Catholic schools going up against each other. De La Salle of the Bay Area and Cathedral Catholic of San Diego. Spartans versus Dons, both undefeated, both playing well. Yeah. This one on paper looks like a great game, and it's going to be on the NFHS network, so you could watch it on the NFHS network too.
Yeah, and I think this De La Salle team kind of reminds me of some of their older teams they've had just because of the size and physicality, but then you throw in the speed with Deuce Jones-Drew and Jaden Jefferson. They've got a great mix of size and speed, but Cathedral Catholic, they're playing great this year. And, the Dons are kind of back to what they were about 4 or 5 years ago when they made it to the state championship game. So we'll see, man. But I think De La Salle is going to be tough to beat. I'd expect De La Salle to run the table and play in the CIF Open Division state championship game once again.
Okay. All right. Well, let's look now at rankings. This year has been fun across the board.
Yeah, a lot of parity,
maybe not for you doing the rankings and having to,
especially when my games end at like 10:30 East Coast time, wherever I'm at. I still don't even know what time zone I'm in half the time, and then say, oh boy, I guess I got to get these rankings in by Sunday morning too. So it's been fun, man. But yeah, a lot of parity this year. You got to love it.
A lot of parity. A lot of teams. Big upsets, a lot of new teams coming in the rankings. We already have a new number 1 team, St. John Bosco. Let's start there. They went out. They're national champions.
Their math is the easiest one to figure out. You went out, you're going to be number 1 crown national champs. It's pretty easy to figure out for Bosco.
Yeah, because they've already had big wins.
Yeah.
And it's only just begun for them.
Yeah, you got Trinity League coming up, and then after that, CIF Southern Section, D1. And, as you're saying, too, whoever wins that D1 bracket, they're going to have a chance as well.
Yeah, a lot of good teams are going to be in that Division I bracket. I think that might be an easy top 10 toughest brackets this year.
Yeah, I think that might take the spot for number 1. And, a team that everyone's telling me about, and obviously I'm well aware of them, and they're number 8 in the country, is Sierra Canyon. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to them in that playoff bracket because they're going to be a team that's outside of the top 5 right now that's going to have a really good chance to finish the year at number 1 if they go undefeated and take out, a Mater Dei and even a Bosco. They might have to play both those guys.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and then you have Centennial. You have teams like that. Mater Dei plays Centennial again and beats Centennial, and then if Mater Dei runs the table, hey, the Monarchs could be right back in the mix for a national
That's
title.
why that Mater Dei Bishop Gorman game was so big, because it was kind of the loser of that game is going to have a tough chance to finish the year at number 1, and the winner of that game would keep their hopes alive, especially for Mater Dei, because that would have been their second loss.
Yeah, and speaking of second losses, the number 2 team does have a loss. Yeah. It's to the number 1 team in St. John Bosco. You were there. It was an incredible game, so hard to say, hey, you're going to drop out of the top 5 when you barely lose to the number 1 team on the road in Southern California.
Across the country.
So St. Francis does have still to play IMG later in the year at some point. That could be a big game to determine who, definitely who finishes in the top 5, but even in the top spot if things fall that way.
Yeah. And, IMG Academy, they looked as good as anybody in the country last week. And, they're scheduled with IMG this year, not as tough as we've seen in years past, but if they run the table, they're undefeated. They're playing St. Francis Academy, and then St. Francis's only loss is Bosco. Mm-hmm. The winner of that game is for sure going to have a chance at, making a statement and finishing the year at number 1. It's always tough, though, because neither one of those teams play in a playoff bracket where you don't have to go on that win or go home each week. Yeah. You don't have to deal with that. So that always kind of factors in towards the end of the year. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of criteria that you figure out as it goes on, too. And another huge thing, too, is, if you finish the year at number 1, you can't have, if you do have one loss, you can't have any blowout losses, too. So it'll be interesting to figure out. Luckily for me, I don't think ahead. I go each week by week, and figure it out from there, and let these teams kind of figure it out themselves.
Yeah, that's for sure. And the way this season's going, we could be talking about these teams right now, and a whole set of new teams come in and new things happen. But it's fun to look ahead. It's fun to talk about. Grayson's in that 3 spot. Yeah. Grayson they're going to have a tough road too to get to a state championship with Buford and Carrollton, teams like that in the mix with them. So Grayson has a chance to finish one, and which is amazing because they've lost their quarterback, but they're still loaded, as you always say.
Yeah, that really just shows you the depth that Grayson has at that program. Centavious Bryant doing a great job. You know, he's young 30s. He coaches like he's been doing this for 40 years. He does a great job with that program, and, you know, Bird just went down with an injury. Deuce Smith has stepped up, played good at the quarterback position. They also were without Tyler Atkinson for the first couple games of the year, but he's back. He's firing on all cylinders. That's a tough group. So yeah, if they run the table in Georgia's 6A classification, they're going to be in the mix to finish here at number 1 as well. Because you brought up Buford and Carrollton. Mm-hmm. Same with those two teams too. They're both undefeated. Yep. They run the table. They'll be in the mix at the end of the year as well.
Yeah, they're looking good for sure. And then the other teams, 1 through 10, there's a lot of teams that, hey, whoever gets through Division I in Southern California is obviously going to be in the mix. Like you mentioned Bishop Gorman that lost to Mater Dei.
They would need a lot to go their way for a chance to finish at number 1. But hey, that game against Mater Dei, very winnable for Bishop Gorman. There were a couple calls that didn't go their way. Yep. It was the same thing for Mater Dei against Corona Centennial. There's a couple calls that didn't go their way as well. Yep. So, you know, Gorman showed they're one of the best teams in the country for sure. Yeah,
and then Edna Carr's at number 10. They're likely going to go undefeated and win out. Obviously, they got to play the games and actually do that, but tough for them to finish at 1. Not saying it's impossible at all, but they just don't have the strength of schedule as some of these teams when you look down the line of St. John Bosco, Grayson, teams like that. Yeah. They just don't have the schedule that these teams have.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them. They have that win against American Heritage. You know, it's not their fault that Diabel didn't play. He's out for the year, but they still won the game, and they're going to need a lot to go their way, though, to finish number 1. Another couple teams, too. One's not even ranked in the top 25, but, I mean, we've seen crazier things happen when North Shore finished number 1. They could do the same thing, and that's the Allen Eagles out in Texas. Mm-hmm. If they go undefeated, win a 6A D1 bracket in Texas, they're going to have a chance at the end. And, you know, same for South Lake Carroll, who's ranked at number 13, our MaxPreps top 25. If they run the table, win a state title in Texas, they're going to have a chance as well.
Well, we'll be in Texas a week from Friday for Duncanville, DeSoto, but let's get to this week. McCallie and Baylor, you'll be there Friday.
Can't wait.
I'm excited for this one because of the rivalry part of it. It's fun to have those national games for sure. Yeah. The awesome talent across the field, but this one is a mix. It's a mix of great talent, but great atmosphere, great rivalry.
It is. Both these student sections are going to be lit this week on Friday, 7:45 p.m. Eastern time, and for good reason, man. This is, this isn't just one of the best rivalries in Tennessee. It's one of the best rivalries in high school football. I can't wait to experience it. I'm excited to get out there Thursday night.
Yeah, and make sure to stay tuned across our socials. We'll have content flowing out the next few days across all our platforms. Zack gets out there, and then we'll have the live broadcast on MaxPreps, YouTube, and the NFHS network. So we'll see you on the broadcast Friday night, and enjoy it. We'll enjoy it watching back home. It should be a good one in the state of Tennessee. That is Zack Poff. I'm Steve Montoya. Thanks for tuning in to the MaxPreps Podcast.